Hey there, campers. Today we're going to be talking about agriculture. Right now, your only experience with farming is likely from buying produce from the store, and that is the case for most people today. However, that wasn't always true. Throughout the past 12,000 years, almost everyone was involved in agriculture in some way. How did that happen? It all started about 12,000 years ago before the Fire Nation attacked. People at this time hunted for the majority of their food using stone tools. See my past video on the development of stone tool tech if you want to learn more about that. Anyway, this period of change is often called the Neolithic Revolution. The traditional hunter-gatherer lifestyle was quickly swept away once people learned that they can grow their own food. Out of this, villages, towns, and cities soon formed and quickly developed into growing civilizations. It's estimated that the global population was around 5 million at the start of the farming period, a far cry from the 8 billion plus that we have today, but it didn't take them long to figure things out. There was no single cause, but was likely a combination of factors that led people to start farming in different parts of the world. In the Near East, for example, it's thought that the end of the last ice age brought conditions that allowed cereal crops like wheat to flourish. In East Asia, increased pressure on natural food resources may have forced people to start farming. But whatever the reasons, farming quickly took root throughout the world at roughly the same time, and this sowed the seeds for the modern era. At this point in human history, civilizations were only starting in specific places that had easy access to rivers, plants, and animals that could be domesticated. Though all of these civilizations were far apart from each other and typically had no idea of each other's existence. The transition from nomadic to farmer would have been gradual. Plant domestication likely started with some humans noticing that plants continue to sprout up in a specific area year after year. It wouldn't have taken much thought for them to realize that they could just harvest the seeds of those plants and then plant them again next year to start the cycle again, and keeping what they wanted from there. This started with wheat, barley, and peas between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers in Mesopotamia. Some prehistoric seedless fruits were also discovered in the Jordan Valley, suggesting fig trees were being planted some 11,300 years ago. Of all the regions in the Middle East had the largest variety of plants and animals to domesticate. Most importantly to me, the coffee bean was believed to be cultivated in Ethiopia around 2,800 years ago. I can only imagine that in an alternate universe, they had never discovered coffee, and that the world was full of people who had never got to taste that decadence that is the hot brown soup. So sad. Around the same time in China, the origin of rice and millet farming was also starting. The world's oldest rice paddy farm was discovered in eastern China recently in 2007. Wait, that doesn't feel recent. How is that already 18 years ago? Well, anyway, it dated back to over 6,300 years ago, almost as old as I feel now. This discovery revealed evidence of ancient cultivation techniques such as flood and fire control. In Mexico, squash cultivation was being developed around 10,000 years ago. At the same time in South America, the potato was also taking root. Corn, or maize if you prefer, would follow, but it had to wait for a natural mutation to occur in the teosinte plant that would allow it to become more like it is today. It would take nearly 5,000 years for a nearly useless plant to be churned into the golden kernels that we love today. Let there be a lesson to you that time can help a lot of things. The domestication of animals would also follow along a similar timeline, though it would have its origins in the domestication of wolves. We started to tame and domesticate them as early as 40,000 years ago throughout Eurasia. That we managed to turn the wolf into so many different breeds of dogs is actually really incredible and likely deserves its own video. There are actually only a handful of animals that have ever been truly domesticated and turned into farm animals. Cattle, goats, sheep, and pigs all have their origins in the Fertile Crescent, a region covering eastern Turkey, Iraq, and southwestern Iran, the heart of which lies in Mesopotamia. These animals would spread to Europe over time as well. In Southeast Asia, chickens were domesticated about 10,000 years ago. Their unique genetics quickly allowed them to spread to other parts of the world and for the longest time, archaeologists and biologists had no idea where they had actually come from. Later, people began domesticating larger animals such as oxen and horses for transportation, commonly referred to as beasts of burden. I'd make a joke about your mother here, but we've already established I'm too dated for that. In South America, the llama and alpaca were the only animals that could be domesticated, but their domestication allowed several empires to take root. Once people started farming and mastering it, some humans were able to focus on other tasks, and this resulted in new technologies such as metalworking. From that point forward, things were never the same. It's easy to take this all for granted now, but for most of human history, groups of people often went starving and had to struggle to find their own food. Progress is always slow at first, but then suddenly everything happens all at once. Right now, we live in a time of food abundance for most people, though I know some unfortunately can't get access to food as easily. That's due to a lot of different factors, and I don't have enough knowledge or qualifications to talk about that. Though there are a lot of people working hard to change that, and maybe someday food insecurity will be a thing of the past. The best I can do for now is share my knowledge and leave some links in the description below to some websites with a little bit more information and resources that could potentially help. If you know of any better ones, please let me know. Anyways, that's going to be all for today. Please do let me know if you've enjoyed, and don't forget to leave a like and hit that subscribe button. I hope you've enjoyed, and I really appreciate all of your support. As always, hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the AM.